I do a lot of work with pretty big companies, and I go to the head office to interview folks as part of my research, and there in the lobby, if there isn't a statement nicely framed that says our vision statement. And it says something like this: we love our customers. We honor the diversity of our staff. God is a nice person. The planet's a great place to hang around. We'll work hard and have fun. We've all seen these things. And it's signed by the management. You know, if I was going to put up something that stupid, I'd be anonymous. And you know what? They mostly paid $25,000 or $30,000 to some consulting firm to come up with that embarrassing piece of crap. This is not a vision statement. A vision statement is a one-page statement that will inform, focus, challenge, and inspire everybody on your team as to what it is you commit to become. Most people in my line of work will tell you that your vision is your dream. Some of them stretch it out. Dream. Some of them even go down on one knee. I'm too old. I can't get back up. And I used to say that too, and then I began to think about reality. Let's say that my dream is to get out of the speaking business and open a nice little hardware store 2 blocks from home. I'm on the road 240 days a year somewhere in the world, and I say, oh, no, I don't want to travel anymore. I'm going to open a nice little hardware store 2 blocks from home. That's my dream. And let's say that Home Depot's vision is to open a big box store 2 blocks from there. That's my new reality. So I began to think about vision as being some combination of what we want to become and the reality of what we must become to be a profitable and responsible market leader in 3 to 5 years. And the whole problem is that a whole bunch of people don't want to become what they must become. A whole bunch of businesses don't want to become what they must become. And I had this clarified for me on an airplane 30,000 feet over Kansas a few years ago. I was flying from Reno to Chicago to come back home to Toronto after some work, and 30,000 feet over Kansas, I got chatting with the couple sitting beside me on the plane. They appeared to be in their early 60s, and I turned to the husband and I said, what do you folks do? And he said, me and the missus are retired. Me and the missus. Don't you love it? I thought if she doesn't smack him, I will. Anyway, he said, me and the missus are retired. And I said, what did you and the missus used to do? He said, we had 3 small grocery stores in towns in Ohio. And you sold them. Yes, we did. I said, how did you come to that decision? Could be helpful to folks. He said, I was sitting in my office one day reading one of them trade magazines. I was doing research, I suppose. And I read there that Walmart is now the largest retailer of groceries in America, and I did not know that. And I got kind of scared, but I read on, he said, and it talked about the size of town that Walmart looks to go into, and I said, praise the Lord, my 3 towns are too small for my new reality. But he said, I did some figuring, I did some reckoning, some math, and I calculated that each of my 3 towns, my 3 markets growing quickly as they are, in 3 to 5 years, each of them will be big enough for my new reality. So he said, I got in my car and I drove up the highway to a town that was already big enough for a Walmart store. And I walked in and I looked around and I said something biblical. Oh my God. He said, I rushed back home. I got a piece of paper and a pen, and I started making a list of all the things we will have to do before our new reality comes to town. What new reality is coming to your market, and do you have a list? He said, number 1, invest $8 million to enlarge and beautify our 3 small stores, and that's, he said, an investment decision. Number 2, he said, probably have to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether me and the missus like it or not. And he said, that's a lifestyle issue. He said, number 3, we'll probably have to hire an MBA to help us run the sucker. And he said, I don't know which of them 3 scared me the most. But here's the beautiful part. He said, me and the missus, we looked at a clear picture of what we want to become in our business and our life. And a clear picture of the reality of what we must become to be a profitable market leader in 3 to 5 years. And for us, them 2 pictures looked nothing alike. Wisdom at 30,000 feet over Kansas. His grammar wasn't too good, but his thinking was brilliant. And the question for you, as owners, leaders, managers of businesses, do you have a clear picture of what you want to become in your business, in your life, a clear picture of the reality of what you must become? And for you, do those two pictures look anything alike? Because he said for us they didn't. So we found a nice young feller with a friendly bank manager who apparently had never been to a Walmart store, and we sold them the suckers. Because they simply did not want to become, they could not commit to become what they must become. Our vision is a combination of what we want to become and what we must become. Are you passionate to become as an individual, as a business? Are you passionate to become what you must become? You know, we all start off passionate and then we get a bit complacent, and then our results kind of tail off and we get a little bitter and resentful, and then we die. Now think about that as a life journey. Passionate, complacent, resentful, bitter, and death. That's goofy. That's just goofy.